Hi, thanks for signing up for Metriport. Today I'm going to be showing you around the app to help you get the most out of your Metriport experience. After onboarding, your main dashboard may look something like this. To create a new metric, we can tap the purple button on the bottom right of our screen. Here we'll be taken to a Create Metric page where we can decide which type of metrics we want to add. For this first example, I'm going to select Template to be taken to a list of recommended trackers. Here, we can choose a few metrics to begin tracking. I've selected a gratitude journal, and I'll also set up a flossing tracker and a spending tracker. Press the Next button to be taken to a page where we can set prompts, which are daily reminders for our metric. If you do not want reminders, press I do not want to be reminded. Once we're done, we can press the Complete button to add these metrics to our dashboard. You'll notice right away that prompts have been created for these metrics. To answer our prompts, we can press anywhere on the speech box. Here, we're taken to a data entry view, where we can enter our entries for the day. In this case, for a spending tracker, I'm going to select all the things I spent money on today. We can also add tags for additional context. When completing a prompt, press the checkmark button to be taken to the next prompt. Those entries have been added, and we can enter our next prompt here now. Complete. For simple trackers like flossing in this case, a simple yes or no will do. All done, and we can see these entries have been added to our dashboard. To reorganize our dashboard, we can tap on any given card, hold, drag, and drop to reorder. We can do this to personalize our dashboard even more. To toggle the Insights view on the back of the cards, swipe left across the screen. This will show a weekly Insights snippets for each metric. To return, swipe right. We can also return to the top of the metrics dashboard anytime by pressing on the avatar. This will take us to the top of the screen. You'll notice as well there's a highlights box here that we can actually scroll through to reveal top tags this week as well as the previous week, if there are any. By default, the highlights view shows our current streak for the week. We can also refresh our device metrics by pulling up. This will grab any new data in Apple Health or Google Fit that isn't currently in Metriport. We can also enter data directly from the main dashboard screen by pressing the plus button on a card with manual entries. This will take us to a data entry view much like the prompts view, where we can make an entry directly from the main dashboard screen. Another notable feature in Metriport is the metric details screen. We can access this by tapping on a card directly from our main dashboard, or by tapping the search icon in the top left corner of our main dashboard screen to access a search view where we can look up any of our existing metrics. On the details screen, you'll notice that we can interact with our chart by tapping on the chart to reveal a tooltip. Here we can see our values that we've entered previously. To make a new entry, press the purple button with the plus at the very bottom right of the screen. Here, you'll notice we can access the data entry view from the metric details screen. To make an entry for the previous day, press the date in the top right corner here to access a calendar. For this, I'll make an entry for Friday and click OK. We can also change the time of this entry. Once this looks good, press the check mark to add this entry. We can now see that this has been added, and it's already filled out our Insights box along the bottom with enough data to generate insights for this metric. We can see we have a distribution chart that we can interact with, as well as a min, max, and average. Tapping the Entries box will show our entries timeline. We can do this to go back and edit previous entries or delete them. To do so, tap on the card that you wish to edit. Here, we can update the value, add some tags, and even add a note. When this update looks complete, press the checkmark button and it's been changed. To delete a previous entry, we can do the same thing by tapping on the card, but using the top right corner to select delete. We've now deleted a previous entry, and we'll notice that the insights are gone because there's no longer 3 days worth of data to calculate insights. If we want to edit this metric or delete the metric, we can do so by pressing the 3 dots in the top right corner here to expand an edit and delete menu. To delete the metric, press delete. Here we'll get a confirmation message. If we want to edit our metric, press edit. Note that premium users will get advanced editing options. In this case, we can edit our prompt message and time, as well as add labels to this metric. Labels will show up when searching for a metric and allow us to organize our metric by category. Going back out onto the main metrics dashboard screen, let's create a new metric from device. To do so, press the button in the bottom right corner to go back to the Create Metric screen, and this time we'll select Device, the center card. Here, we'll be prompted to sync with either Apple Health or Google Fit. Once I select the button to sync with Apple Health, I can select some device metrics to start tracking. For this, I'll select energy burned, as well as blood oxygen. When this looks good, press the checkmark button for the data to start syncing. This may take a moment, and when it's done, we can press the checkmark button again to add these metrics. You can see these metrics have been added, and I'll tap on energy burn to go to the details screen. We'll notice we get insights for this device metric, as well as a data timeline. We can change the date range for this metric by using the date picker along the top. Here I've selected month, and I'll select the calendar icon to go back and look at December's data. Using the tooltip, I can scroll through my data from December, and I can also use this important compare button to compare this with another metric. Here I'm comparing energy burned with steps. We'll notice that in our insights box, we get correlation insights when comparing two metrics. Here we'll see that when steps increases, energy burn tends to increase. To go out of comparison view, deselect the compare button. Last but not least, let's create a custom metric from scratch. Press the purple floating action button in the bottom right to go back to the Create Metrics screen, and this time we'll select the custom card. Here, we can begin configuring our custom metric. For this example, I'm going to make a medication tracker. We can choose an icon and as well add labels to it to provide additional context to the metric when searching for it. Pressing Next, we're taken to a screen where we can choose which data type this metric will accept. We can tap on the info icon to get a brief overview of this data type. In this case, it looks like numerical will have what we need, and we're going to make our unit name doses. We'll press Next to choose which chart type this metric will be. In this case, a bar chart probably makes the most sense, but a line chart could also do. Pressing Next, we'll be taken to a screen where we can configure our categories. For this particular example, I'm going to create 3 separate categories. Medication A, Medication B, and Medication C. We can see they all have different colors, and we can configure these category colors if we want. We can also add custom icons to each individual category, and also reorganize our categories like so. When this looks good, press Next to set up prompts. For this particular metric, I think it makes sense to have a reminder at 9 a.m. We can also configure the message that we'll have for this prompt. When this looks good, press Next to be taken to an overview screen where we can confirm all of our parameters for this custom metric. We can do any last-minute changes here. And when it all looks good, press the purple checkmark button on the bottom right to add this metric. Voila, we've created our first custom metric and we can answer the prompt right away. Entries have been added and we've successfully entered data for our first custom metric. Finally, I'm going to take you through the settings screen to walk you through some more serious operations, like deleting all your data and restoring from a local export. To access the settings screen, we can do so by tapping the settings icon in the top right corner here. This will take us to a settings screen where we can instantly adjust things like our appearance between light and dark mode. To create a backup of your data, first start by pressing local export. Here we'll be prompted to enter in our password, and then we can press export my data. We can see a file has been created. To test that this works, I'm going to scroll up here and press on my name and email here to be taken to a profile screen. Here we can manage account details, as well as delete all of our data. To show that the restore works, I'm going to enter my password here and delete my data in the app. We'll see all my metrics have been deleted. I'll go back into the settings screen by tapping the settings icon and going to local restore. Here I can enter in my password, choose a backup file. We'll notice that there's a folder called Metriport where your files will be under. Here we'll select the most recent file, wait for it, and voila, we've restored all of our metrics and all of their data. Another few notable things that we can find in the settings screen are things like our unit preferences. Here we can configure whether we use things like kilograms versus pounds, kilometers versus miles, and Celsius versus Fahrenheit. Please note that any changes here will not affect existing metrics, but only for new metrics being created. When this looks good, you can press the check mark. We can also do important things like upgrading to premium by pressing on the upgrade to premium banner. You'll also notice that in the account management page, we can do important things like changing our password, for example, as well as deleting our account or opting out of app analytics. We can also sign out here from the account management page. You'll find also at the bottom of the settings screen, follow us, as well as help, contact, and bug report, which you can press to open up the email to send us a direct email. This has been a brief overview of Metriport. Thanks so much for taking your time to watch this, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Bye for now.